Tonight on Cronkite News, local food banks are on high alert and worried that their shelves could soon be empty. Found out why and what they plan to do about it.
Plus, political differences have been put aside as Governor Katie Hobbs signed a law expanding the definition of animal cruelty in the state.
Plus, we'll head to the cowboy camp where they are learning to defy gravity. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm E. McFarland.
And I'm Maggie Wall. Thank you for joining us.
If there's one thing that brings people together, it's pets. In Arizona, the love for animals resulted in a rare bipartisan effort to improve new laws around animal cruelty. Derek Rivera was at the press conference today where people from all political spectrums came together to work on behalf of our animal friends.
Workers here at the Humane Society described a horrible 2023 event that saw dozens of injured and starving animals taken in by a so-called animal rescue organization. This event fueled the push for this animal welfare bill.
I want to reflect on how far we've come since the Chandler 55 case almost 2 years ago. The heartbreaking situation sparked a movement that brought together advocates, lawmakers, community members to pursue meaningful reform.
Hansen said the animal cruelty law SB 1658 will help ensure that such tragedies never happen again. The bill specifies that pets must have good drinking water, food must be appropriate for cats and dogs, and they must have some shelter. Governor Katie Hobbs emphasized that all types of pets need to be handled with care.
Whether you have a dog, a cat, rabbit, snake, guinea pig, or anything else, you have a responsibility to treat these creatures with dignity and respect. And sadly, we know that is not always the case, and that's why this bill is so critical.
Senator Shauna Bullock sponsored the bill and says this bill will help law enforcement act in animal cruelty cases.
The remaining parts of this bill will still provide law enforcement with the necessary tools to act more quickly and obtain a warrant. Senate Bill 1658 will provide law enforcement with the clear, enforceable standards they need to protect animals in critical need.
A couple of things that this bill does not do: it does not apply to livestock, it does not take away animals from people experiencing homelessness, and it does not increase penalties. In Phoenix, Derek Rivera, Cronkite News.
Governor Hobbs was briefed on the Oak Ridge fire over the weekend. The fire burning in Navajo Nation has scorched more than 10,000 acres. The governor met with Navajo Nation President Boo Nygren and first responders on Saturday. The governor said her administration will offer support to the Navajo Nation and those impacted by the fire, which began on June 28th. As of today, the fire is about 75% contained.
And more than 3 million Arizonans have upgraded to brand new travel ID. The Arizona Department of Transportation announced the milestone today. Federal law now requires compliant ID if you want to board a domestic airline flight. That includes a new Arizona travel ID or a passport. If you don't have the new ID yet and are traveling soon, ADOT says not to wait. It can take up to 14 days for your new card to arrive in the mail. Without it, you could risk your flight because the old standard driver's license may not be accepted.
People in Arizona could be running out of food. President Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill is a danger to many resources citizens rely on. Arizona's food banks are one of the biggest at risk.
While many resources are threatened with the passing of this bill, a large worry for many Arizona residents is where some families' next meal will come from.
Food banks usually, provide one meal out of 10 for SNAP recipients, and now they will have individuals coming to them looking for all 10.
The Arizona Food Bank Network feeds over 550,000 people each month. The food bank's president and CEO, April Bradham, says her organization is doing all it can to provide for those in need, but the rising cost of food is making things more difficult.
We're already in a place where we're having to expend resources we never have before.
Local leaders say President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill will affect many people who rely on these nonprofit foundations for help, especially as the number of people in need continue rising.
The magnitude of need we will see very soon is unprecedented.
While the long-term effects of this bill are still unknown, Arizona food banks will continue helping in all the ways that they can.
Coming up next, look at news from around the world.
And now that Israel's Golden Dome defense system has been tested, U.S. officials are hoping to replicate it here. And one company with ties to Arizona is part of the plan. We'll have the details up next after a quick break.
I'm Eddie McCoven here in the Cronkite Weather Center. We've got the latest on the devastating floods in Texas, plus as temperatures heat up here in Arizona, what we can expect this week.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. You know, the ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
Israel's Iron Dome missile shield got a workout in the 12-day war last month with Iran. 1 week after returning to office, President Donald Trump signed an executive order expanding this country's missile defense capabilities.
He calls it the Golden Dome, and some of it will likely be built in Tucson. Mariah Luisa has more from Washington.
Raytheon has been producing missile defense systems for Israel in Tucson since 2011. The Pentagon recently awarded the company almost $4 billion to produce anti-missile missiles for a U.S. system. The president and CEO of Raytheon's parent company, RTX, told investors that Raytheon will build on its Iron Dome expertise as it develops the Golden Dome.
Layered integrated air and missile defense systems are core to us. It's the bedrock of Raytheon, and they are, among the best at it. And so we're ready to engage on this as it takes shape over this study period. View this as a significant opportunity for us, something right in our wheelhouse.
Raytheon builds missile defense systems in Tucson and in Huntsville, Alabama. The Tucson plant is one of the state's largest employers with more than 12,000 employees.
When we hear of good successes like new contracts for them or sales are rising, that's a good signal that they're going to have some long-term sustainability in the community, and it protects the jobs that are already here.
The $4 billion worth of contracts is just the beginning. The U.S. Missile Defense Agency, part of the Defense Department, projects the Golden Dome will cost $151 billion. The Congressional Budget Office puts the price tag much higher, up to $831 billion. In Washington, Maria Loiza, Cronkite News.
President Trump says just like the Iron Dome protects Israel, he's sure the Golden Dome will protect the U.S. from adversaries like Russia and North Korea. Skeptics point out the U.S. is nearly 450 times the size of Israel.
At least 90 people have now been confirmed dead following devastating floods through central Texas over the holiday weekend, many of them children. Dozens remain unaccounted for as rescue and recovery efforts continue.
And the area is still dealing with more extreme weather. Eddie McCoven in the Cronkite Weather Center with details.
So what we've got going on right now in Kerr County, Texas, that's where we have the majority of the destruction, and multiple agencies, federal, state, and local, are on the ground helping with those efforts. Now, the vast majority of the destruction, as we saw, is in Kerr County. The mayor of nearby Kerrville gave an update on the efforts.
I need to tell my community and those families who are waiting, this will be a rough week. Primary search continues, and we remain hopeful every foot, every mile, every bend of the river.
At Camp Mystic, an all-girls summer camp that sits along the Guadalupe River, 27 campers and counselors have been confirmed dead. 10 campers and 1 counselor are still unaccounted for. Meanwhile, the flood threat is not over yet in some hard-hit areas. Weather forecasts showing that storms moving across the region today and tomorrow could still cause flash flooding. And taking a look at those current conditions that we have right now over Texas, we are seeing that storm system push right out of the Gulf, right through Mexico, and providing more moisture. And by tomorrow night, we're going to see some heavy downpour in the central part of Texas. And as that storm system continues to swirl around, we're going to see widespread thunderstorms and showers across the southeastern part of the state, especially as it continues to move down towards Houston. Now, that same storm system is actually bringing up some moisture for us here in State 48, but it's just barely along the border and along the eastern part of the state with New Mexico, and we're going to see most of it by tomorrow night. Up in Flagstaff, going to bring some moisture in, but it's probably not going to bring a lot of rain, or at least any measurable amount of rain for us. Taking a look at your currents, though, right now, we are still in those triple digits. We are, 101 by 10 o'clock tonight, not cooling down a whole heck of a lot, but as we see with tomorrow, the overnight temperatures, 91 here in Phoenix, 87 in Quartzsite, 83 down in Tucson. The high temperatures, though, for tomorrow, we are in that extreme heat warning that's going to last through Thursday. 113 here in Phoenix, 107 in Tucson, 114 in Lake Havasu City. And we could see higher temperatures surpassing 115 as we move through the week. Taking a look at your 8-day forecast, Tuesday is going to be 113 in Phoenix, 117 is going to be the hottest day of the week for across the desert as this weather continues to heat up for us. Thursday, 113, and as we move through into the weekend, we're going to see those temperatures dip down just slightly, a few degrees below normal, but still going to hover around 110, 109. I'm Eddie McCoven here in the Cronkite Weather Center. Back to Eve and Maggie.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a scorcher for the next few days, so outside activities may not be a good idea.
But that doesn't mean you have to miss out on some fun activities. After the break, the sports activities you can do indoors with air conditioning so that you can beat the heat.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities, and when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
freedom.
Friendly. Nice. I'd say cozy.
Welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Milexa Cardona. Tonight we start things off with the latest update on the Diamondbacks' shaky season. The D-backs ended their 10-game homestand 3-7 after a shutout loss to the Kansas City Royals. Manager Torey Lovello expressed his frustration about his team's performance, saying, "You go 3-7 at home in a space we feel very comfortable playing in with great fans, and it doesn't work out. It's really frustrating." Rip Valley Card Shop in Phoenix just recently hosted a big-time Diamondbacks player for an autograph session for fans all across the valley. Nash Dara has more on the event, which was a home run.
Diamondbacks third baseman Eugenio Suarez recently stopped by one of Arizona's hottest card shops to show love to the fans of Arizona. Rip Valley Card Shop, right off of Roosevelt Street, has become a hot commodity in the valley.
Yeah, we try to open our doors at least once a quarter to make sure that people know that we're a good community partner. And a lot of our events in the past have been co-hosted with us by Tops.
Suarez spent over 2 hours taking pictures and signing autographs on everything from bobbleheads to jerseys, balls, and more.
The line got long enough that it was, out the building and snaked, down the road. So I would say there was a little bit over 200 people all told who came through and met him that day.
Rip Valley Card Shop is still generally new here in the valley, but events like this are putting them on the map. With signings, trade night events, and more to come, Rip Valley looks to keep building the relationships within the community and local professional teams.
And we're always, welcoming in Diamondbacks fans before and after their games, Suns fans before and after their games as it cools down because we're the closest card shop to the Valley venues.
Trading cards and memorabilia have a huge impact on the sports market, and Rip Valley is the perfect example of why it also has such an impact on fans and traders all over the country. In Phoenix, Nash Dara, Cronkite News.
Although the card shop can't give major details on the upcoming events, they look to host more professional athletes in the future for autograph sessions. After 3 long weeks of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, Mexico claimed the regional title yet again. Mexico took the win over the U.S. men's national team 2-1 in a dramatic finish. Mexico's Edson Alvarez scored in the second half, which was originally ruled out for offside, but after further review, the goal was good and up on the scoreboard, sending Mexico fans into a frenzy. This is the 10th Gold Cup title for Mexico, making them the most successful team in the tournament's history. Arizona summer is here, which means temperatures are reaching an all-time high. While this may prevent people from enjoying their favorite activities outside, businesses around the area are offering alternatives. Patrick Renault went to some of these places to see how they are handling the new surge.
Temperatures are hitting their peak in Arizona, and that means outdoor activities are much less appealing. However, some places are trying to offer the same appeal, but with air conditioning. Desert Links Golf in Phoenix is offering the experience of playing those courses in Phoenix, but on a simulator.
They also really like that they can play around in a relatively short amount of time, much shorter than actually playing on the course.
In Arizona, there are approximately 4,298 emergency room visits each year due to heat-related illnesses, with Maricopa County seeing over 640 deaths in 2023.
At Chicken and Pickle, they are seeing the increase of popularity for their indoor courts. While handling the new surge of people has not been a problem, the location has come up with new ways for everyone to have a chance to play.
We do an open play Monday through Friday from 8 to 11, $5, and we see the skill level all over the place.
Pickleball has seen a sudden rise in popularity in the past few years, with the sport only growing more and more as time passes.
Indoor courts have increased tremendously as far as number of occupancy.
So, With the temperatures reaching their peak, for your own safety, consider doing your favorite activity indoors. In Phoenix, Patrick Renault, Cronkite News.
It's not just pickleball and golf that have this luxury. Places all over the state are offering indoor activities for sports such as basketball, soccer, and many more. ASU football doesn't officially begin for another 8 weeks or so, but we're already getting a look at the team's brand new uniforms. ASU unveiled the new uniforms earlier today with this flashy campaign called Tradition Meets Evolution. The new uniforms feature Arizona State written across the chest. The first game of the season is on August 30th against NAU. Rodeo life isn't just wearing boots, caring for animals, and getting a little dirty. It's early mornings, calloused hands, and a lot of cleanup. At Rayetta Ranch, the cowboy girls aren't just riding horses, they're flying. Emily Paulson gives us a first-hand look at what it means to be a cowboy girl.
It's more than just riding. It's trust, timing, and a little bit of fearlessness. Every moment tells a story of a girl who loved horseback riding and wanted more of a challenge. The Rayetta Ranch Cowboy Girls aren't just performing. They're defying gravity and wooing crowds.
Yeah! Rayetta shapes lives. That's what we do. We just happen to do it through Western performance, professional rodeo, and ranching lifestyles.
Practicing in Prescott for a rodeo, the Cowboy Girls traveled from California, where Rayetta Ranch is located. The girls come from all over the world to train, learning everything from horsemanship to acrobatic trick riding.
Trick riding's meant to look dangerous, not be dangerous. So there's so much prep that goes into it, and it's really a mental game. So by the time that these girls are performing in the arena and you see them hanging upside down, they don't care, they're hanging upside down.
For the Rayetta Ranch Cowboy Girls, it's about more than just female empowerment. It's a program to build self-esteem and self-confidence for these young ladies.
I was so shy before I came. I honestly, right now, I'd probably be hiding behind that horse. I wouldn't even be talking. They just teach you how to stand up for yourself and just talk in a crowd, because there's situations where you need to tell people about what you do because it's so amazing.
The Cowboy Girls say it's not just the performance, it's a rush and bond with their horses that words can barely describe.
You wouldn't understand it unless you were out there. When your horse is running 9-0 around the arena, you're hanging off the side of it. It's the best feeling in the world.
From trick riding to gaining an unmatched self-confidence, the Rayetta Ranch Cowboy Girls are gaining skills they'll have for the rest of their lives. In Prescott, Emily Paulson, Cronkite News.
A lot of the Rayetta Ranch Cowboy Girls don't stick with rodeo forever, as they go on to have a variety of careers. That's it for tonight's Sports Report. I'm Alexa Cardona. Now back to Maggie and Eve.
Thanks, Alexa. Coming up next, we're off to the races.
But not a horse race. We're talking about a wiener dog race. But this Dachshund Dash descended into total chaos. Find out why when we return.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
You meet so many new people who are on different communities. And when you do that, you're able to network not only, but also get to engage, talk to people, and make life friends.
I think that definitely surprised me, the community that I would find, because I wasn't really expecting it.
Freedom.
Friendly. Nice.
I'd say cozy.
Welcome back. There was a big controversy over the weekend at a wiener dog race.
That's right. The Dachshunds went for a dash during a game for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers baseball team. As you can see, several dozen of the small dogs took part in the competition, but the controversy came at the end because the dogs didn't exactly race in a straight line, which made it hard to crown a clear winner. But in our book, they're all wieners. That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm E. McFarland.
And I'm Maggie Wall. Thank you for joining us. And to see the top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.